Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online Series 7 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out a really interesting Coalossal team. Now, Coalossal's been quite good for a while, as you may have seen, and this was actually built by Santi, the winner of the First Players Cup, and he dominated the First Players Cup with Coalossal. But the reason why I wanted to try out this team is because it is a pretty big deviation from kind of the standard Coalossal builds. As you can see, there's no Urshifu or Dragapult. Instead, you use Azumarill to activate the Steam Engine and the Weakness Policy. The Azumarill is also a support set with Sing and Perish Song, and there's a Gothitelle on the team as well, right? So you can obviously go with Azumarill and Coalossal in the early game and kind of just pick up early knockouts, and then Azumarill can really seal up games quickly with Perish Song. This is a very support-oriented set with Sap Sipper. That Sap Sipper is really essential, by the way, because of the amount of Rillabooms and Amoonguses that are around in the format. Being able to just negate damage and ignore them is honestly really critical. So the Azumarill here is a really interesting set. And so you obviously have Azumarill Coalossal as a potential combination, dual Fake Out, or actually triple Fake Out, I should say, which is another cool component of this team with the Gothitelle, Incin, and Rillaboom. And then there's also a Glastrier on the team, and I think that's pretty important as well because a lot of the common teams right now on the ladder are going to be these like hyper-offensive Tailwind teams. So against stuff like that, you can often just lead Fake Out plus Gothitelle and get Trick Room up and then get Glastrier in and try to sweep with Glastrier under Trick Room. So with this team, you're not hard locked into really maxing Coalossal all the time. Most of the time it's going to be Coalossal and Glastrier. Those are the two real options here. There are some situations in which maybe you end up maxing the others, but you're obviously going to try to play around those two Pokemon for the most part. So yeah. As we've seen, like, Perish Song can be really interesting as a late game option, especially in a Dynamax format, where you pick up these early knockouts, Perish Song can just end the game after you take those two knockouts. And Coalossal is a Pokemon that's really excellent at picking up early KOs because it's just so strong and so fast. So really eager to try out this team. I think one other cool thing to note is that it has Protect on every Pokemon. And Protect, has always been a really good move in VGC, but this generation specifically, I think, like, more sets and Pokemon can get away with not running it. That being said, it's still really good. And by running Protect on Pokemon like Incineroar and Rillaboom, which, don't carry Protect as frequently, and people often expect to be able to just, like, target those slots safely, especially something like Incineroar, for example. But by having Protect on everything, it just means, like, getting Perish Song off in the end game is going to be a little bit easier. So I'm really excited to try out this team. Santi actually was able to reach number 1 on the ladder just a couple of hours ago with it, so it is really incredible. And yeah, just eager to feature it, so thank you to him for the team. I've linked Santi's Twitter in the description below, and it's a rental as you can see, so feel free to try out the team yourselves. And yeah, let's get started. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please show support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I want to know what your favorite fairy type Pokemon is with us using Azumarill. Let me know in the comments below, and let's get started. I think the really interesting thing about this team for me is obviously the Azumarill stuff, but also just in general, like, Perish Song has historically been a really good move in VGC, and we've actually seen some like hardcore dedicated Perish Trap teams in previous generations. But this team's interesting because you're not relying only on Coalossal and you're not relying only on Perish Trap, right? You actually have like these two completely different ideas that mesh really well together. And I think like being able to unite those ideas is particularly interesting to me. So we'll see if we can execute it properly here. First game of the day, we are up against potential Sun stuff. Just double checking Coalossal speed here. Okay, so it's modest max. So I could lead. I could just go Azumarill Coalossal here. That doesn't seem too bad. Cole does really well into my opponent's team. Azumarill Coalossal. Sap Sipper here is nice, especially against the Venusaur, but obviously Regieleki is going to be kind of scary. What if they go with Trick Room stuff? If they lead Porygon, for example. Here's what's interesting, actually. One way to deal with Porygon is to just click Perish Song. So I probably want to bring Gothitelle so I can just get the trap off in general. And for the last one, it's between Glastrier and Incineroar. I think Glastrier is like better offensively. But Incin's really interesting just for Fake Outs. And actually, that's one other thing that I commented on the triple Fake Out, but like, the reason why that's so strong, especially with Perish Song, if you can stall out your opponent's Dynamax, for example, and then you get Perish Song, and like almost every Pokemon on your team has Fake Out, or every other Pokemon has Fake Out, it's so hard to be able to win against Perish Song late game when every Pokemon is Protect and your opponent is just cycling Fake Out every turn. So that's like another really interesting component here. What could be scary is Landorus being led here immediately. I don't know. Maybe Glastrier would have been better over Incineroar then, because it would give me the flexibility of Dynamaxing it. Like, Dynamax Glastrier is actually not that bad into my opponent's team, so I'm not sure if hard committing to Coalossal is really the best decision here, because it is definitely a decent possibility my opponent just leads like Landorus plus something. Landorus-T, for example. Okay, let's see. But they go with Urshifu and Venusaur. Okay, I mean, I'm happy to see that, honestly. Not knowing what the items are here, a little bit tricky. It's fighting dark though, so that's good to know. I mean, my first question is like, which one of these two Pokemon are sashed, basically. I should survive the close combat here. Oh, I guess you could be Banded Urshifu. Like, I'm worried about close combat, like Banded close combat, and just max Quake into Coalossal turn 1. Now, I have my own max Quake on Cole. So, like, I could Aqua Jet into Cole. I just don't know where the Sash is here. I went Aqua Jet max Quake into the Urshifu because I think it's likely Urshifu is banded here, but if it's sashed and then like Venusaur maxes and you double up onto Cole, this is not good. I could have gone Volcalith, could have protected Cole. No, I can't protect Cole in front of Urshifu, so that doesn't work actually. It's tricky because like if I know where the Focus Sash is here, then turn 1 I just basically get a free knockout onto whatever's not sashed. Okay, they don't max Venusaur though, which is a good start. Because I was afraid of just getting like one shot by a max Quake. Now the problem is that I think it might still just be a double up onto Coalossal. And I'm just worried about banded close combat plus another attack from the Venusaur. I will get a special defense boost here, which is kind of nice, but not obviously very helpful against an Urshifu. Ah, it is sashed Urshifu. Okay. So I could have knocked out Venusaur for free turn 1 then. Like, if I just went Volcalith onto Venusaur turn 1, this would have been super free, but I had to respect the option of Venusaur potentially maxing there. They do just close combat. Okay, we take that though, but now I'm worried about Sleep Powder potentially into Coalossal. I think that might be what's coming out right now. Oh, it's Frenzy Plant. Okay, but now you can see why Sap Sipper is clutch. That actually, I think, puts us in a phenomenal spot, because now I can just Aqua Jet this and go for the Volcalith with very little risk. Okay, nice. That was a risky turn 1. I really wanted to respect the option of Banded Urshifu. I don't think I had a super guaranteed safe play there. If I'm really nervous, actually, what I could do is Aqua Jet Urshifu turn 1 max guard Cole. And the logic behind that is to basically... Okay, they're going to protect, but that's fine. And Sucker Punch, but that's also fine. Because, like I said, as soon as we pick up another KO in this game, we should just win. Because then we can just go for Parasong. So that's what I'm trying to aim for right now. But you can see the value of the Azumarill with the Sap Sipper here. Really, really helpful against all the grass types in the format. And there are a lot of grass types, right? Azumarill would be super weak against otherwise. Venusaur, Cortana, Rillaboom, Amoonguss, just to name a couple. Okay. Wasn't expecting just a Frenzy Plant like that turn 1, though. So that's pretty interesting. We're going to bring out Landorus. Okay. So Landorus is probably going to be the max mon here, right? Like, I think it's definitely super likely. But that's fine because we have Perish Song. So what I want to do is switch Azumarill out into Incineroar, just get an Intimidate off onto the Landorus. And just go for... Ooh, is there... Nah, I should just go for a knockout here, I think, right? Yeah. I think I switch Azumarill here into Incineroar. And just go for a Volcalith. Flare works onto... Actually, what could they switch into? They don't have a Rock Resist, so I'd rather just Volcalith here. Because I'd be afraid of Venusaur switching out here, but it doesn't look like it will. Okay, so now we have the Intimidate onto Landorus, which is good, because I think that's the main Pokemon that's going to Dynamax from my opponent's end. And sure, Max Quakes will still hurt, but Azumarill is pretty bulky here. If we can... Oh, actually, the one reason to have gone for Max Flare here was to try to KO Venusaur through if it tries to go for a double protect. I actually think that's decently likely. So I should have considered that possibility. Like, what would be switching in into a Max Flare that would resist it? Torkoal, but then it's like +2 Sun boosted special Max Flare that still does a lot of damage with Volcalith damage as well. So they don't go for the double protect, but I guess like looking back at it, flaring is probably better because if Torkoal switches in, like, it's fine. we still do enough damage. And if my opponent goes for a double and gets it there, that's actually pretty bad for us. Oh, they offer max Airstream. That's interesting. Okay. The Incineroar has Shook a Berry, by the way, as well, so that's pretty helpful in an endgame scenario like this. I mean, I don't mind that. Like, that just makes it easier for us, I think. So they might have been reading into a max guard on Cole, or maybe they were just content, like, targeting around Coalossal and getting that speed boost. It is Torkoal as the last one. Okay. So Sun goes up anyway. I have a Fake Out this turn. And like I said, I have Azumarill just waiting to click Perish Song, which is good. How many? They still have 2 turns of Dynamax. Fake Out onto Torkoal here is really free, but I could also switch Incineroar out for another Intimidate. With the Shuka and the Intimidate, I'm thinking we survive a Max Quake, but I don't know. I'm not 100% confident on that. I just don't want to switch in Azumarill yet, because I think that's the main win condition here. I think I'm going to go out into Gothitelle. I think just getting another Intimidate is so valuable against the Landorus here, because then Azumarill can really wall both Pokemon, right? Like, your Torkoal's not going to do any damage into the Sap Sipper Azumarill. And Landorus being at -2 attack, especially after Dynamax ends, is also significantly weaker. They just go for a Protect on Torkoal, which is totally fine. The only question is this next turn, do I gamble? Like, because I could just bring out Azumarill and Fake Out the Torkoal and Perish Song. The only risk of that is that they crit us. So basically the question is, can I afford to win this game without a crit? Like, in which, like, I have it 100% won. Because this is really safe for me to just bring in Azumarill and Fake Out Perish Song right now. So let me think. If I bring in the Incineroar, what do? You're at -2 attack, I could Fake Out, and then I guess just Flare Blitz Landorus, actually. That could work too. But then, if you crit with Max Quake, it's still the same scenario, right? Actually, plus, like, does Max Quake, can it still KO? I don't know that calc super well, so I think I'm just going to bring in a Azumarill and Fake Out Perish Song. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's just the best course of action here. Fake Out Perish Song, Dynamax ends on Landorus, and then I have Fake Out with both Gothitelle and Incineroar, so I can just double protect, cycle one Pokemon out, and then Fake Out last turn, and we should be good. So as long as Azumarill survives this turn, we should win the game. And Landorus is at -1 attack, so I'm fairly confident we should survive any non-crit attack here. So they're going to go for Max Quake, yep. I don't know, bringing Incin and just Flare Blitzing is a compelling option, but yeah, we take that Max Quake with no problem. Okay, nice. So, yeah, this worked out really well for us, but what was scary was the lead, just because I didn't know what item, like, Venusaur had. If Venusaur just went for, like, if it had Sleep Powder and just went for Sleep Powder onto Cole, that could have been really scary. But, like, Venusaur could also Dynamax and gone for a Max Quake there. Venusaur could be Sash, Urshifu could be Banded, so not knowing the items was really scary, but because Urshifu did not faint on turn 1, as soon as that turn 1 happened, we were in a really, really good spot. And once again, this is the beauty of Sap Sipper Azumarill. That absolutely saved us here, right? Because it allowed us for this endgame Perish Song stuff. So, I am just going to double protect here. Yeah, I want to know the calc on the Max Quake into Shook a Berry Incin there. I suppose they could actually Max Rockfall in that position. So then the question is whether or not -2 attack Max Rockfall can KO us. Actually, yeah, because of the risk of Max Rockfall, I think it's better just to bring in a Azumarill there. They're just going to click Rock Slide, but it's fine. Because at this point, yeah, anytime you have, like, this kind of scenario where, like, all I have to do is basically switch either of these Pokemon out into Incin, and then just bring either of these back and then click Protect, so it's a guaranteed win. So this is exactly what I was saying, right? You pick up these 2 knockouts really early on, and then you're basically good. So, you swap Gothitelle out here into the Incineroar, and yes, go for a Sing. Yeah, there's nothing my opponent can do in this position. It didn't matter what we did with the Azumarill, because regardless of how the second turn would play out, even if you picked up a double KO, Gothitelle comes in and clicks Protect. So, once again, that's why it's really important that this team is like Protect on every Pokemon, because it sets you up for that Perish Song stuff in the end game. So overall, that game went decently, I would say, but the only main problem, I would say, is the lead. And I also, like, didn't feel that great about my lead, because if my opponent led Landorus, that would have been significantly tougher as well. So, I don't know. It was kind of a gamble to lead the way I did, but that's also like Sun teams or Sun cores are really tough to play around because of the potential, because of like the flexibility you have in who you want to Dynamax. Okay, so we're up against Eric's team here. We know it's Light Clay, Grimmsnarl with Light Screen. This is where Azumarill is actually really interesting. If I'm them, what am I leading here? I'm playing towards Landorus, right? Grimmsnarl Landorus, for example. That could work. I feel like I should... maybe I can still bring Coalossal? I don't know. Like, I'm leaning more towards the Trick Room route here. Sorry, the Parasong route. Because Azumarill actually walls a lot of my opponent's team. The hesitation with Coalossal here is that it doesn't do much damage into Landorus, which is going to be Assault Vested, and there's Light Screen. We just used this team, so we know the details of it. There's Light Screen on the Grimmsnarl, and there's going to be AV on Landorus. And so, like, both of those give Coalossal a really tough time. Yeah, I'm honestly leaning towards Incineroar Gothitelle here. The God traps in the Grimmsnarl, which is nice, and then Glastrier Azumarill in the back. I think Azumarill, the Parasong win con is going to be important against... Actually, would you bring Registeel here? I still need to cover for it, right? Because... if I don't cover for it, then it can wall Glastrier really hard. So, this is an example of how, like, I don't know. Like, you could make an argument for Coalossal, but, like, AV Landorus is really one of the best things, like, to have against a Coalossal, especially with Light Screen support here as well, so I'd rather go from the physical end instead. Especially because there's a Lumberry on the Glastrier, so I don't even have to worry about Will-O-Wisp Rotom, at least for, like, the first turn they Will-O-Wisp. Okay, they go Grimmsnarl Rotom, though. Yeah, kind of frustrating, because... Azumarill Cole definitely could have dunked on this, but it's fine. Yeah, that's actually a pretty big problem now. Because I think it's just going to be Fake Out Nasty Plot turn 1. So, good read on their end. Like, they outled me hard here, and I thought they'd play more towards Landorus. Because, like, I guess what their plan would have been was to just Light Screen. I don't know. Rotom is just so bad into Cole, but I think they just made a hard read on me not leading Coalossal and got the better end of it, so props to them. It's probably just Fake Out into Incineroar. Oh, they have Taunt on the Grimmsnarl as well. That's a problem, too. I just don't want Nasty Plot to go off. I'm going to Fake Out Rotom. Actually, if I just get Trick Room up here, maybe it's not that bad. So, but here's the problem. They could just Fake Out Incin. Okay, yeah, I think they were going for Taunt. Taunt Nasty Plot. Yeah. Now the thing is you can Dynamax the Rotom, and I didn't bring Coalossal. So maybe I should have brought both Coalossal and Glastrier here. I can Parting Shot and Psychic, so that's kind of nice, but, like... what do I get out of that, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna go for that. If we had Coalossal in the back here, then we could even max Coalossal, despite not having the Aqua Jet stuff. Yeah, so I think it may have been a better route to bring both Glastrier and Cole in this game. So once again, the reason I led this way, instead of just leading Azumarill Coalossal, was because I thought Grimmsnarl plus Landorus-T is a really bad lead to go into. Because you can just Light Screen, and then I'd force to switch out Coalossal turn 1. So I think my opponent was probably anticipating me trying to cover for that option and then led the Rotom instead, which matches up brilliantly against what I brought. So props to them. Still winnable. They're just going to Spirit Break, okay, into Gothitelle. They're not going to max Rotom, though, which honestly I'm happy to see. Because I actually feel like max Rotom could really mess me up right now. Okay, I'll take any damage I can get on that thing. I just, like... switching in Glastrier here does not feel good. But I might have to. What if I go into Azumarill? I can Parasong immediately. No, but I need a Parasong in the endgame. It's just that it's so... like, I might just get hit by a Thunderbolt onto the Glastrier Assault right now. Or even Overheat if they really want to go hard. It is going to be T-Bolt. That's way too much damage. We get crit too. I think if it wasn't a crit, I'd be okay with that, but that crit makes this really hard now. That's not good. Because I don't have any damage now after, like, Dynamaxing Glastrier. I guess I needed Cole in the back here. This isn't a clear example of why like lead matchups are so important though in Pokemon. How do we get out of this? Who do I can't even Dynamax anything. Okay, I'm gonna Steel Spike Grimmsnarl. Switch out into Incin. But the problem is that I just don't get anything out of my Dynamax this game, and I don't get to pick up those knockouts like I said I needed to. You could even, like, Dynamax Rotom now. So if I brought Coalossal over Azumarill, I think my life would have been easier in the early game. But then, like I said, the reason why I wanted Azumarill was because of the Perish Song endgame setup. And, you know, if Landorus plus Grimmsnarl did end up being the lead, this would have totally been okay. Oh, I guess then you can Swords Dance Landorus. That's still pretty scary. But then I've trapped you in, and then Glastrier can just come in and Max Hailstorm you. So, yeah. I don't regret playing the way I did, but props to my opponent because they just outled me. And I'm impressed that they, you know, led that way. Because it is basically a hard call out saying you're not going to lead Coalossal. So, yeah, if I wanted to, like, I basically was way too Rotom-H weak here. Like, I really didn't think it would come out as a lead just because of how weak it is into Coalossal. But my opponent made the excellent decision to just lead it. And that's going to, like, just be super, super huge for them. So, like, I think the one way we can win this is basically picking up another knockout and then clicking Perish Song. The problem, though, is that Rotom is just really good into the Pokemon that I brought here. So, I think if I were to replay this, yeah, maybe I drop the Azumarill and bring Coalossal instead. I don't know if that crit will actually end up making a difference because, like, Flare would just one-shot us here anyway. They end up going for Lightning. So I guess if they didn't crit... Oh, we survive. Oh, that's actually... That changes everything. I am really shocked to see them go for a Max Lightning there instead of a Max Flare, to be honest. That gives us a big window of opportunity. Like, I was talking about this game like it was over already, but the fact like Glastrier... Like, I get more than one turn out of my Dynamax here. Even if it's just to protect is huge. But I have a Fake Out right now into whatever's coming in, too, right? Rillaboom is a possibility. It's probably the worst-case scenario. But this is suddenly a game again. Because I think if Glastrier gets... Yeah, it is Rillaboom. Okay, I think Rillaboom just protects here, to be honest. What do I want to do here? How do we win this? Like I said, I need to pick up another KO. Sap Sipper is big right now. The play I'm interested in going for here is Max Guard. And then switch out into Gothitelle so then I can Fake Out Rillaboom next turn. Alternatively, I can just, like, Parting Shot here. I just think Rillaboom protects here. What's the alternative? Just Fake Out Max Hailstorm Rillaboom? I mean, if we pick up another KO, we will just win. Oh, they don't protect. That's huge. Okay. Sorry, we will win if we get the Perish Song off. But now I actually feel like our odds of getting it are decent. I think if my opponent just Max Flared last turn, this would have been a little bit easier for them. I guess they wanted to cover for switching into Coalossal, though, which makes some sense. But because we didn't, yeah, it's huge. Okay. They're going to Lightning again, which makes sense, into Glastrier. Yeah, I think my opponent was definitely respecting the Coalossal as much as they can, which makes a lot of sense. So they have one more turn of Dynamax. I do have Azumarill right now. So I'm thinking we just bring out Azumarill immediately and just click Perish Song, because then we have double Fake Out and double Protect. So for example, what I want to do is just bring out Azumarill, click Perish Song immediately, and then Parting Shot with Incineroar, so then I get both of my Fake Out users with Protect next to each other. I think it has to be that. Okay, they bring out Registeel. That could be a problem too. Definitely going to click Perish Song here, and I think it's just Parting Shot into Rotom. Yeah. What else could I have done last turn? I could have Max Guarded and Flare Blitz into Rillaboom. I don't know if that's enough for a one-hit KO, though. Okay, they go for Iron Defense. That is a problem, but yeah, I mean, there's no other play for my opponent to go for. This is actually big too, because it is likely that Gothitelle eats up the Max Lightning instead, right? In which it would like ideally you knock out the Azumarill here, so I get a free switch in. But if Gothitelle just faints here, we probably just lose. Well, we do have Protect. We do have Protect on all of our Pokemon. Yeah, Goth eats it up, which is not ideal. Oh, okay, we take that with no problem, though. Nice. Okay, well, let's see. Now, 3 turns of Parasong left. We just double Protect, right? I think it's a guaranteed win now. Because we double Protect, we switch out either Pokemon, and then Protect again. So I think we'll actually win now. I think, yeah, my opponent was definitely respecting the Coalossal as much as they could, which is why they didn't Dynamax earlier with Rotom and why they were going for Max Lightnings, which makes a lot of sense, but Glastrier is so tanky, he was able to survive that, which was huge. Okay. Yeah, it's just double Protect. I just want to make sure I'm not, like, overthinking anything right now. Double Protect, switch out, Protect again. Is guaranteed. Yeah. This is, once again, the huge advantage you have when you have 3 Pokemon versus 2 in a Perish Trap endgame. And once again, this is why having Protect on both of your Pokemon is so valuable. Because it means neither Pokemon faints on that given turn, and then you can switch out either. So, yeah, this was not looking good, though. And I think if Glastrier just faints to a Max Flare there, we just insta-lose the game. But that's why you don't give up. But, like, credit to my opponent, because, like, I just did not foresee the Rotom-H lead. And they didn't even bring Landorus, right? So that was like a super hard call out on their end saying, I don't even think you're going to bring the Coalossal, at least not as a lead. And so to have that foresight, I think, is really impressive. And it made this a lot harder for us. They Nasty Claw with Rotom, but it doesn't make a difference at this point because I have Protect on both Pokemon. So I just switch either of these out the next turn. And then just Protect on the last turn. Yeah. I don't think there was any reason to not go for this. Yeah. Does it matter who we switch out? I don't think it makes a difference, right? I'll switch out Azumarill. I guess Gothitelle is Fake Out, but we're always protecting on the last turn anyway, so it could be either of these, and I think it'd be fine. Okay. So we switch Azumarill into the Incin, and we just go for a double Protect. Doesn't really matter at this point. Yeah, because all Azumarill needs to do is come back in and click Protect, so... Like I said, our win con was to pick up 2 KOs and then click Parasong. We were actually able to accomplish that, but... Like, I don't... Both this game and this game I feel super bad about, honestly. In the sense that, like... I mean, it's nice to be able to win, but in the end, like, I think my opponent was one step ahead of me with their lead. But then the question is, did I have a lead that, like, covered for all the options on my opponent's end, right? Is there something that beats both Grimmsnarl, or Rotom-H and a Landorus? Not really, right? Because Coalossal beats Rotom and Glastrier beats Landorus. And they hard lose to the others. Like, if you flip those. No, I can't lead Azumarill. Yeah, I think, like, this is just one in which, like, the lead matchup plays such a big role in. Because, like, if whoever calls it correctly gains such a monumentous advantage right from turn 1. Okay, so let's say I lead Azumarill. We just double Protect here, by the way. If I lead Azumarill plus Coalossal, you go Grimmsnarl plus Landorus. What do I do? The thing is, like, I could switch Cole out, but then I would need Incin in the back. I could switch Cole in, take the Max Quake, have the Shuka Berry, and double Protect the next turn. That's probably the approach I'd want to go with. Basically, like, stall out my opponent's Dynamax. So yeah, actually, like, maybe I actually still could have led Azumarill plus Coalossal. So I go Azumarill, Coalossal with Intimidate in the back, Azumarill, Coalossal, Incineroar, and then Gothitelle would be my 4 then, I would think. Rillaboom's never coming out in that matchup, that's for sure. And in the end, I mean, Glastrier was actually really good for us, but it shouldn't have been as good as it was, honestly. I'm just impressed he was able to survive that +1 Max Lightning, but yeah. I think in that position, my opponent should have just gone for Flare, because even if I switch in Coalossal, like, well, I guess Coalossal really doesn't take that much damage from it, but then Steam Engine would go off, you could Max Lightning it next turn. So, you know, that obviously saved us, but we didn't even bring Coalossal in the back there. So I didn't even have many options that turn because had to Dynamax last year. That was a really interesting one though. Okay, they have Venusaur here. And Rotom-Wash. Rotom-Wash is a problem. It's a big problem because I don't have Solar Beam here. But I can Max Flare. Running into these Rotoms are tricky though, right? Because like both of those are Electric type. Like Azumarill, obviously the worst matchup for it is pretty much Electric type Pokemon. What does my opponent lead? I could just see. No, I don't think. Like I think Rotom Venusaur is compelling here. Although I could just Aqua Jet Flare. I want to go Azumarill, Coalossal, Rillaboom. I think Rillaboom is good here, solely into Rotom. And then it's Incineroar or Gothitelle. I mean, Incineroar is nice here. What would I be bringing it for? Flare Blitz primarily. Gothitelle gives me Trick Room, but do I really need Trick Room here? I don't think so. I guess the problem with this, though, is that if my opponent does lead Rotom... Like, Rotom is really good into Azumarill plus Coalossal. So if I wanted to counter that, I could have brought Rillaboom. I think one thing that I haven't done super well yet is, like, both of the games we've played so far, I don't think, like, I've had, like, the best lead matchup possible. And so, like, if you're able to call the leads well enough with this team, you just get such a big swing on turn 1. Okay, they go Incin plus Venusaur. That's okay with me, I think. Well, Venusaur could Max Quake here, which I guess is the problem. Like, you'd fake out Azumarill, Max Quake into Coalossal. I could obviously double Protect turn 1 and then self Aqua Jet turn 2. I actually might Max Guard here. Just because I don't want to take any damage. I'm kind of down for that. I'm kind of down to Max Guard here. Okay, they switch out, which means I think Torkoal's coming in. Yeah. So what do I want to do next turn? What's the item on Venusaur too is the question. The reason why this is a safe play is because I've Sap Sipper on the Azumarill, and by Max Guarding, like, you guarantee cannot get your G-Max attack off this turn. They're not maxing. Interesting. So Sleep Powder into Cole is definitely a possibility. Okay, so they've revealed Incin, Rillaboom, or sorry, Incin, Torkoal, and Incin, Torkoal, Venusaur. All of those are actually really Coalossal weak. I could have just gone Aqua Jet here, but obviously I wasn't going to do that in front of Incin Fake Out. So nice switch. Yeah, they just go for Sleep Powder onto Cole. Okay. Oh, that really makes me wonder what your item is here. But I think I still have to self Aqua Jet. I'm just going to self Aqua Jet and Volcalypt here, so I get the residual off now. I think if you're going for that, is Venusaur Sash? So few Venusaurs are actually running Sash nowadays. Like, there's an Urshifu on that team as well. But if it is Sash and I don't Volcalypt, I think that's pretty bad for us, right? Oh, actually, what am I saying? +2 Volcalypt with KO anyway. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I had so much like deliberation there. Okay, they switch back into Incin, which is fine. So here's the upside right now, right? This Azumarill kind of walls the Incin and the Torkoal. And so once again, neither of those do much damage to us, which sets us up for Perish Song. Okay, they don't max Venusaur. I think it's so likely. It's crazy that a 4x super effective attack there, by the way, did 4 damage to us. Also, if they miss Sleep Powder, they insta-lose here. Even if they're sashed. If they're not sashed, I think they just insta-lose, because then I just get a free knockout next turn, click Perish Song, game's over. That does not look like sash to me. Nice. The thing about Venusaur is you always have to respect every single option. Like, I basically assume it has every item at once and every move at once until I can confirm its full moveset, right? So you want to assume it can be... Focus Sash is the main one, just because then you have to consider doubling up into it, but Wide Lens is a possibility. Cobra Berry is really the most common item that I see currently, just because there are a fair amount of Max Air streamers. But Life Orb, also a possibility. Mimikyu is that last one. That's interesting. Okay. If you're bringing Mimikyu out, what do I play towards right now? Perish Song, right? Obviously. Who do you max even? They don't have a great max option. I'm just going to Aqua Jet, try to break Mimikyu's Disguise. Because I'm Sap Sipper, I don't even care about what Mimikyu's going to go for here. And I'm just going to Vocalith into the Incineroar. Because then that's already 2 knockouts. I just click Parasol on the next turn. They are going to go for Fake Out, though. Okay. Probably Fake Out Trick Room here. I think if you want a chance to win this one, you have to Trick Room. But I already have a 4-2 lead. Azumarill still has its berry as well. So I think we should... Like, unless... Because I have the Sap Sipper, too. You probably max Mimikyu. I guess that's the thing. So then the question is, with max Mimikyu, can you put in enough work? The thing is, Coalossal is also just, like, absolutely destroying right now in terms of pure damage. So it might be a little bit safer to switch Azumarill out here, just in case my opponent maxes Mimikyu. Although we should outspeed Mimikyu under Trick Room, right? So, like, pretty sure I don't even need to play that safe. Like, could just Parasol immediately. That's what I'm leaning towards here. It's not like you're... How fast is this? Base 70. It might be smarter to just switch Azumarill into Incineroar on this first turn, just for an Intimidate. I could also just Aqua Jet into this Heat Wave. Oh, I have Earth Power. That's kind of nice right now. I'm pretty sure we should outspeed the Mimikyu here, but I guess there's a small chance it's min-speed Mimikyu. Okay, they don't Dynamax, which is good. They're just going to Earth Power. That's fine. Wait, is it fine? Because I get the Parasong off, but the problem is now... Can you actually pick up enough KOs in the next couple of turns? With Swords Dance, that gets a little scarier. Huh. I think protecting Coalossal would have been the play there. That actually may have been a really big misplay. I didn't think about that enough. Because the problem is that I can't Fake Out, and my opponent still can Dynamax too. However, I do have Incineroar, which has Flare Blitz as well, so I could just bring it out and, like, Aqua Jet Flare the Mimikyu. But... yeah, I think that's what I go for here. Break the Disguise and just Flare Blitz Mimikyu. Because I have Shuka Berry, so I'm not worried about Torkoal, like, knocking out Incineroar right here. And I also don't want to Fake Out into Torkoal in case it Dynamaxes, which I think is definitely a possibility. I should have protected Coalossal there. Why didn't I? Because I was worried about my opponent doubling up onto Azumarill. But that was actually a really big mistake, because even if my opponent doubles up into Azumarill, as long as I get the Parasong off and you don't knock out Coalossal, then it's a 4v2 with so many turns of Parasong. So then at that point, with having 4 Pokemon, I just protect Azumarill, sack Coalossal, and go from there. But I think if you are Dynamaxing the Torkoal here, it's still... Ooh, does Max Flare one... I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say, if Max Flare, like, one-shots... Okay, they Dynamax Torkoal, that's actually what I wanted to see. I think Dynamax and Mimikyu would have made this trickier. But this is actually still really scary. If we knock out Mimikyu here, though, we should be good, I think. I'm pretty sure Flare Blitz and Sun should KO, and with the Shuka Berry, we should survive a Max Quake as well. So I think we're okay, but let's see. What is that? It's Key Berry. Oh, does that allow you to survive Flare Blitz? Key Berry Mimikyu. I've never seen that before. Wow. Okay, that Max Quake did nothing, though. So I think we're okay. I just, like, this is an inexcusable game to lose for how good our early game was, so... I mean, I can already point to the direct misplay I made. Oh gosh, they are faster. Okay, but they don't KO Incin, we're good. Does Flare Blitz KO? Sun boosted. It's pretty slow Mimikyu. Okay, it's still enough. Alright, we should be good now. But this was a lot scarier than I had intended it to be. Because like I said, it was like pretty much a guaranteed win as soon as we get that early lead. But by not protecting Coalossal, I blundered a little bit there. I also want to check Mimikyu's minimum speed, because if it can outspeed Azumarill... Well, that didn't matter, right? Because Azumarill hard walls the Torkoal here. But I do want to just double check Mimikyu's speed after this turn. Okay, now we can just protect both Pokemon. What is it, 2 turns? Actually, we could just switch Azumarill out, because we know that hard walls and protect here. Yeah, at this point it's game over. Nice. So you can see how essential Parasong actually is to these endgames. We've used it pretty much in all of the games, right? So it's actually such a critical component. So this one was like, You have to be really smart about your execution with Perish Song, and I was not super smart in this endgame, in my opinion. Yeah, so it was Cobra Berry, Frenzy Plant, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, Sleep Powder. So not being Sash there was big. Shuka was on the Torkoal. Incin, pretty standard stuff here. Sash Urshifu. That could have given us some trouble. Citrus Rotom. I'm actually shocked Rotom didn't come out there, because Rotom is such a good counter into both Coal and Azumarill. So I feel like, I don't know, all these games, like... Both this one and the last one, I think my opponent didn't bring their best answer against Coalossal, and I don't know if that's because they were just predicting me to not lead it. Yeah, this was slow Mimikyu. Base 90 speed stat. But yeah, the Shuka Berry was huge here. If we didn't have Shuka Berry, that we actually might have lost that one. Okay. How would I have played that better? I mean, just protecting Coalossal. We ended up having the best lead possible, right? Like... They were super Coalossal weak in this game. Actually, their whole team is pretty Coalossal weak. And, like, the two Pokemon that I thought would give us the most trouble were Urshifu and Rotom, and neither of those came out. They actually had Nasty Plot and Ally Switch on this, so this would have been really hard to play against. So I think if Rotom came out, that definitely would have been a trickier matchup. But I think if I just protected Coalossal that turn, then it's pretty much a guaranteed wrap, because then, like, at that point it's 4 versus 2, and I can protect Azumarill the subsequent turn, and I have double Fake Out in the back. So at that point, then I protect Azumarill. Probably just go for a double protect with Coalossal. You knock out Coalossal, 2 turns of Perish Song left. I bring out any Pokemon. Yeah, it's a guaranteed win if I protect Coalossal that turn. Because then I bring out either Incin or Rillaboom. I switch Azumarill out, and then Azumarill just comes back in and protects on the last turn. So we didn't have to sweat as much as we did in that endgame. So, you know, that's what I mean. Like, you can build up these huge leads, but sometimes they can slip away very quickly, especially if your opponent hasn't Dynamaxed yet. And I actually think if they Dynamaxed Mimikyu, they may have won this endgame as well. Mainly because I think they Dynamaxed Torkoal expecting me to Fake Out there, which is why I didn't go for a Fake Out, but we had a guaranteed win if I protected Coalossal there. Although, yeah, like I said, I wanted to double check Mimikyu is at 0 speed. That looks like it's min speed, right? I'm pretty sure. It is. Okay, so I didn't know, I wasn't 100% sure on that, but because Azumarill always outspeeds min speed Azumarill, or min speed Mimikyu under Trick Room, Perish on Protect was a guaranteed win at that point. Because there's no way Mimikyu can do anything to KO us, and Torkoal also cannot one-shot Azumarill with any move. Even if you crit Max Flare or Max Quick against us, Azumarill should survive there. So that was a really big misplay. It didn't end up costing us, but it's always good to analyze and see what you could have done better, because we had a guaranteed win at that point. And I just, like, wasn't thinking very much with the Coalossal that turn, so that was a big mistake on my end. So yeah, like, games like these are always good because it's like, yeah, winning is great in Pokemon, but it's more important to see what you did right and what you did wrong. We had a really strong early game in that one, but did not fully, like it would have been literally just over immediately had I protected there. So yeah, like, there's little reason to really attack with Coalossal in that position, especially if I'm not even breaking in Disguise there on the Mimikyu, right? Like, if I'm like, at least it would make more sense if I, like, Aqua Jet there, but the reality is that Heat Wave is only breaking Disguise on Mimikyu anyway and getting maybe like 50% on Torkoal, so it's not really, like, I mean, the damage is good, but it's not anything on Mimikyu other than the Disguise chip. And then on Torkoal, like, it's good damage, but at that point when you're up 4-2, the Perish Song should be the only win condition you think about. So once I accumulated that big of a lead, I should have just been asking myself, okay, how do I guarantee a win with Perish Song, no matter what my opponent can have? So yeah, scary end. We end up winning, but I feel like all 3 games today we won, but, like, there were some errors in all 3. Like, second one, I wouldn't call that an error to not lead Coalossal. And, like, once again, I really wanted to respect the Landorus-T, but I guess thinking about it more, and actually, while I'm here, if you guys are curious, because I'm curious, I want to know Landorus-T into Incin with Shuka Berry, what that calc is like. Because I think if it is... Okay, the problem, and the reason why the play I'm thinking of here doesn't even guaranteed work, is, okay, Max Quake does 48 to 57%. So less than I expected, actually. What I was going to say is the reason why that Landorus-T is so scary is because it also has Swords Dance. So if I lead a Azumarill Coal, and I switch into Incin and they just Swords Dance turn 1, we actually probably just, like, lose instantly. So, like, I don't regret playing towards the Landorus, like, there, because, like, they didn't bring it, but I thought that was such an essential win condition for them. That I just had to show it respect. So I don't really regret that one. First game was really scary just because of the way the leech panned out, but if you can, you know, escape turn 1 while activating your weakness policy and not taking that much damage, it often will just propel you to a victory. So, yeah. And this one, obviously, early game was really good. Had that one slight blunder, which could have cost us here in the end, but fortunately, we were still able to pull it out. But, yeah. Always ask yourself every turn, what am I attacking for? What do I even need this damage for? If you don't have a good answer for it, consider protecting, especially in these Parasol Man games. So, I've been rambling on long enough, so that's going to be it for this one. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time. And don't forget to check out Santi, link down in the description below. Alright, peace.